Now, SAA, business rescue practitioners and staff have been waiting for months for news of funding for the airline. The Public Enterprises Department says the airline will not be liquidated, but it's still unclear when the money will be made available and where exactly it will come from. Well, to discuss this, I'm joined now by Public Enterprises Director General Kgathatso Tlhakudi. Good evening, Mr. Tlhakudi. Thank you very much for your time. You know, there was no specific mention yesterday in the President's speech of what's going to happen to SAA. Is revival still definitely on the cards?
No, it's definitely still on the cards, Sally, and thank you for having me on your show. We'll be starting a new airline in due course. It has been a very tough process since December last year, but the end is definitely near. And as it has been indicated, that we'll await the right authority within government to speak on when the funds will be made available. In the interim, of course, what we're looking for is to ensure that we have a bridging facility to ensure that we can start with the restructuring process, which includes looking at allowing those employees that have opted for voluntary severance packages to exit the business. We are also looking at some of the PCF creditors that have helped us to keep the airline going during this period to be paid off for that. Yeah.
So you're going to look at getting bridging finance to pay out some of those staff who are taking retrenchment packages before the money comes from government. Is that am I correct in my understanding?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
All right. So who is going to give you bridging finance?
Well, in due course we'll know, but we are speaking to a number of parties with the assistance, obviously, of our counterparts within government. So it's a matter of time. I think we're just asking for patience.
Would that be potentially one of the banks, or could it be a new equity partner, or just explain who are the options?
Well, what we are looking for, SAA, is obviously to do the restructuring process. Then we are also, as we have announced, we have a strategic partner that we need for the cleaned up airline with a new balance sheet. That work will obviously take a while to be realized, but we hope within the course of this year we'll be able to announce who will be the strategic partner for SAA. So, but all the processes are happening as in line with the timelines that we had set out. We understood that this was not going to be an easy process, and we understand the very difficult position that the employees at SAA find themselves in. And all we can ask them to is that to just give us time and be patient.
For those waiting for their retrenchment payouts, how much longer? And please don't say in due course again. Please don't.
Well, unfortunately, that's what I'm going to say, Sally. We can't give you definite dates, and it would be.
What's taking? Sorry, I'm so sorry to jump in here, but what is taking so long?
It's a nature of these processes, and as you are well aware, some of the business rescue processes or interventions that other businesses have taken much longer than what we have been faced with. SAA. Recall that SAA is not a small business. I mean, it's about 1% of our GDP. It's quite a complex business. It's one of the leading and oldest airlines in the world.
Sure. So, can we expect? Sorry, I'm going to press you on time frames here because I think that's really what people want to know. So sorry to jump in there. Can you tell us whether the finance minister, in his midterm budget in just under 2 weeks from now, will tell us exactly the plan for SAA, where the money is coming from in the budget?
I'll leave that to National Treasury and the Minister of Finance, and I beg your patience on that front, because as you well know, that's how the process works, and it's all of us within government will put our requirements to our colleagues in National Treasury in terms of what we require, and we give them the space to be able to work out what each one of of the various parts of government will receive.
I understand that you can't give me clear timeframes. I understand that you can't tell me whether it's going to be mentioned in the midterm budget. Can you tell me, are we looking at weeks or months still, do you think?
Well, we all know that before the end of October, Minister of Finance will have stood on the podium. So I think that's basically the timelines that you're asking for.
Thank you very much for that clarity. We do appreciate, and we also appreciate that it's a very difficult interview for him to have to do. Thank you very much. Public Enterprises Director General Kgathatso Tlhakudi telling us that all will be revealed in due course, but confirming end of October. They really do want clarity. So let's hold out till then.